We are live. Welcome to my video. This is going to be my thoughts on The Walking Dead Season 3, Episode 8, Made to Suffer. It's Their Lot in Life. The episode is rated TVMA, so will this video be, and like all other videos I've done on this show, there will be spoilers for the episode and all the ones leading up to it, all of which I love. Let's dive right in. So, yeah, this one really delivered on the promise of the cliffhanger ending of the previous one. Yeah, the whole, like, tactical shooting, they're using flashbangs. Somebody played Counter-Strike, clearly. Them fighting their way back out of Woodbury, I would have to give the crown for the best action scene on the show so far. Like, just, yeah, fantastic. At least if we're talking, like, larger scale ones. And, yeah, great to meet some more survivors in the prison. We don't learn that much about them so far, but, you know, there was enough. I'm invested. And, yeah, Carl really, you know, yeah, he is indeed doing what his dad would want him to do every step of the way. You know, rescue them, be, you know, ready to, you know, take out the one that's going to turn soon, and lock them in there with food and water. And I quite appreciate that the question of, are you know, shouldn't we help them, that only came after the new survivors left. You know, she's not questioning the leadership in front of them, because that could, you know, they might end up thinking, oh, this group might be weak, you know, kind of thing. I don't see it as a gender thing. It's just, you know, he is the one left in charge. And, which is right. And yeah, I like, you know, Herschel being like, I can't let you go in there. And then he says, it's what my dad would, you know, and yeah, Herschel respects that. Yeah, Axel. Do you think he was, like, named Axel as a baby, and then he was like, I better grow up to be a mechanic? Or did he become a mechanic, and then people started calling him Axel, and he was like, okay, fine, I'm Axel, Jesus. Yeah, Beth is still very innocent, you know, and Carl also doesn't seem to really pick up on it, but yeah, Carol has been around men for long enough. She picks up, I'm not saying all men are like this, but, you know, she's been around men enough to be able to pick out, you know, yeah, he's, like, perving on her, you know. She's 17. Interesting. Is that really the word? And then, you know, when he realizes, oh, she's not a lesbian, I guess he didn't watch Alien 3, maybe. How long has he been in this prison? But, you know, he's like, short hair, doesn't that mean you're a lesbian? She's like, I'm not a lesbian. And then he's also like, interesting. And then she's like, no, it isn't. Yeah, that's the right response to that. And let's see, yeah, I think that does pretty much cover the prison stuff. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I appreciate them not spending a bullet on taking out the woman who was gonna turn, but the hammer, like, holy crap, yeah. I think that does take us very nicely to Woodbury. I like that one guy is like, you know, he doesn't seem to understand the danger that he's putting himself in. I think he might have been thinking, oh, these are just, like, kids breaking curfew, not, oh, I know you're, you know, trying to push boundaries and maybe looking for a little alone time, but this really isn't the right, you know, no, you have to come out of here, you know, the curfew is on, you know. I really don't think he was expecting, you know, humans with guns. And yeah, let's see. yeah, Rick really has reached a level where he's willing to do whatever it takes, because, like, this guy really clearly is not a danger to them, and still, you know, this kind of violence and death threats and such. But yeah, you know, it is that thing of, like, they're basically the four of them are seeing everyone in Woodbury as one of these. You know, Michonne said, oh, you know, he's got a bunch of wannabe militia. They think everyone in Woodbury is wannabe militia, and even, like, it. Yeah, I already mentioned, you know, clearly he isn't one of them, but they just can't move past that initial, you know, perception. Let's see. Yeah, really cool when they rescue the hostages as well, and yeah, you know, the thing of, you know, stabbing them in the neck, and, you know, I was just for like a second worried, are they really gonna just throw in a failed rescue or a failed escape attempt? But no, it, you know, it leads directly into the you know, there's enough noise there that Rick and the others can find the hostages, you know, and, you know, Merle is like, you gotta watch out for them. You know, they stuck this guy with a stick, which, in their defense, if a stick is not for sticking, I don't know what is. I really liked how it keeps, like, the Dixon brothers are so close to being reunited, and then at the end of the episode they are, and it's not exactly how either of them hoped that would play out. Before I talk more about that scene, I do briefly want to talk Michonne. Yeah, she just straight up leaves the others behind and goes and waits for the governor to return, you know. Let's see, yeah, and she discovers more of his secrets, you know, goes into the room of post-decapitations, you know, which honestly looks like it's reached full capacity. That is a max headroom if I've ever seen one. And yeah, you know, finding Penny, and of course, logically, she assumes, like, as, you know, both are twisted, but before she assumes that this is a zombie girl that he's been keeping, yeah, she assumes that this is, you know, still a human girl. And yeah, you know, she takes off the little thing, so there's nothing holding Penny in there, and, you know, before taking off the hood, which, again, you know, we can understand, you know, if that was a human girl and not a walker, yeah. But yeah, and then she's ready to, you know, to kill Penny, and then, you know, Governor shows up and makes the mistake of revealing to someone who hates his guts that he's really protective of Penny, you know. And it's a great little, you know, he puts away the gun, takes off the belt. He thinks, you know, he continues to underestimate her. He thinks that he can actually talk her out of this, and that's of course why they're able to have the fight rather than him just shooting her, which would have been very boring, you know. But yeah, obviously, as soon as she feels like, oh, he's not going to be able to stop me, and he really cares about Penny, you know. And there's also great this thing of, you know, she doesn't have any needs. What about raw flesh, though? But yeah, you know, stabs her, and they have the fight, and some of the heads come out, and we see one of them, like, open its mouth. It's just fantastic animatronic, really, really nicely done. And let's see, yeah, some great moments in the fight. I love that action scenes today, so much of the time, you know, whether it's the good person or the bad person, or, you know, sometimes it's more morally gray than that, you know, everyone is, not always, but in this case, and a lot of these cases, everyone is being tactical. You know, it would have been really boring if it was just a super one-sided fight, but yeah, you know, both of them fight dirty and, yeah, do some moves that obviously would make a significant impact. And let's see, yeah, it culminates in, you know, like the moment you see the shard of glass, you're like, she's not actually gonna, holy shit, you know, and she grabs it. And, you know, there's a lot of pieces of media where it would have been just like, oh, she just, like, snaps it off with ease. But no, it's not on The Walking Dead. You know, she grabs it and she has to, like, pull at it, and there's, like, blood because it's carving into, just, holy crap. Manages to get it, stabs him right in the eye, like, holy shit. Just, yeah. And she's about to finish him off, and then Andrea shows up. And I love that for, like, a few seconds, it is like this thing of, like, you know, on the one hand, she definitely wants to protect the governor, but on the other hand, you know, without Michonne, she would have died, you know, 8 months ago. Ultimately, she does let Michonne live and even leave. Maybe love. And then goes to help the governor, who is understandably very upset, you know, when he's, yeah, and the doctor's like, please don't move to it, because it is, you know, this is a very, you have to be very careful. And I also appreciate the fact that he's struggling just slightly, he almost, like, not quite collapses, but he is having a little bit of difficulty, because, you know, that is, like, you know, you don't have to take my word for it. Try, like, closing one eye and then see if you can walk normally without any kind of, you know, you gotta, you know, adjust to it. You know, I don't know. I tried it as a kid. I still remember it. Whatever. And then we have the final scene of the episode, which really just, yeah, God, the governor's such a terrible person. Like, I can understand how he got there, but just, yeah, you know, and he is, like, if you can tell where they're going with this. They're not being super subtle, you know. He's saying, oh, there's terrorists out there, and they want what we've got, you know. Like, he might as well be saying they hate our freedoms, you know. But he needs them to unite under him against a common enemy, so he throws Merle to the wolves, because the only one they have is Daryl. And if he just said Daryl is one of the terrorists, Merle would not let that stand, so he throws him under the bus as well. Which also just, like, he's been his faithful lieutenant for, you know, months now, and yeah, like, I appreciate that sometimes he doesn't exactly obey orders, but still, this is, yeah, wild overreaction to that, and it's probably not even that. It genuinely is just, he expects loyalty, but gives none. And we can tell that Andrea is, you know, uncomfortable with it. We don't see, you know, by the end of the episode, we don't know exactly if she will speak up. I can imagine she will, because, like, certainly she knows that Daryl is not just gonna, like, if she's gonna need a lot of, it's, yeah, she's, I think it's going to take some convincing for her to accept that. I mean, it has been 8 months. I guess she might believe that they've just, yeah. But yeah, and the entire monologue that the governor delivers is excellent. It just, yeah. Oh, right, I just realized I completely forgot to check IMDb trivia. I'm just going to skim it to see. Yeah, someone noted it's the first episode where the Dixon brothers are actually together in a scene. And let's see, let's see, I think that might be what right, Rick seeing Shane was also a great moment. And then we do, you know, afterwards he just has to make sure, was that really Shane? And of course it wasn't actually Shane, but someone who looked, yeah. Let's see. I think that is the... Yeah. This episode marks the first time Maggie is shown killing living people. And... yeah. Yeah, really stoked to see where it goes next. So that'll be the day after tomorrow. I'll do another episode of the show. Yeah. Because I feel like it's going to be very easy for him to... Yeah, I don't know exactly if he's going to be able to... Because Andrea is right there, if he's going to be able to execute the Dixons. But yeah, certainly, you know, I feel like he's going to have an easy time getting a lot of volunteers for storming the prison. So, yeah. Let's see. I think that does cover absolutely everything. Yeah, just absolutely amazing episode. Everything I had hoped from the end of the previous one, and yeah. Yeah, I keep trying to think of like something funny to end on, but just... Oh, right, the fact that, you know, the Rick and the others were able to do so well, you know, ultimately, yeah, like the wannabe militia didn't expect anyone to attack them from inside Woodbury. You know, you might in fact say that Rick and the others had the element of surprise on them.